All right. So it's September 26th. This is the airport review panel meeting. Um, we are missing a couple of members, so we do not have a quorum, and we will just forego. We're in about minutes from last meeting. But we do have a couple topics to discuss, and we have two members of the public here to talk about the issues we want to bring to the attention of the Board of Supervisors. So the public members who are here are familiar with the problems we have with the airport. So we are not going to go through public comment from new attendees or trying to bring new people up to speed. We don't need to bother with that. So first thing to just go over was the support to the Harvest Day Festival and how that was received. I spent 2 hours there myself talking to the public. Lots of people were interested in this subject. Many were unaware there was any airport expansion planned or what the magnitude of that expansion was. And so a lot of concern expressed. A lot of people were signing up to get information from the grassroots organizations, Trenton Threatened Skies, and BRAM, Bucks Residents for Responsible Airport Management. I know, Judy, you participated in this. Do you have any comments you'd like to make about people attending or comments you heard?
It's amazing how many people are still not aware that there is a 5 times larger terminal planned with now a public comments made by Dan Benson that they've hoped to make this a transportation center with a great more number of flights. And so we felt that we informed a good number of people who are directly impacted by this.
Mm-hmm.
We definitely wanted to be kept informed.
Okay. Holly, could you tell from your website if people were signing on or more people entering their emails to become recipients?
Got some new names to enter, which we will do. And we didn't see that there was that much activity.
Mm-hmm.
Dawn was there. I was not there.
Did Don have any feedback to you?
Yeah, we talked about it, and he said, the traffic was mostly in the morning, and it was fairly quiet in the afternoon. But we did get some names, and he'll enter that into the database, and we'll go from there.
Okay.
There was definitely a steady stream of people. Some of them we already had their information, but we definitely wanted updates, wanted to know what they can do to stop their quality of life being reduced and property value.
Mm-hmm.
So there's definitely some strong concern from many people.
Okay. Well, the outreach from people at that from the Harvest Day definitely led me to think it was time for us to make some kind of formal letter or announcement for the Board of Supervisors to put forward to the public to say, these are the issues that are being faced. We know there are people who want the airport, but the reasons for the concerns by the community are these, and deal with the growth, how the FAA has handled the information provided by the airport and how the airport has changed their tune about the growth, as well as we want to bring to the public's attention the business about the PFAS chemicals and the Superfund site that's adjacent to where the projects are going to be going on. So I will put a motion forward, but I'll have to do it through emails or texts with the other members of the panel to get approved for making a motion to put forward a letter to the Board of Supervisors for them to give to the community or to have us come out and make some statements at a public meeting. So that will be one of the outcomes, and I'm open to suggestions or review from you folks for what we put out there to inform the public, since that's one of our main roles, is to try to make people informed as to what the goings on are over at the airport. That's what we'd like to do.
Yeah, and there's always we can update them on what's happening. Mostly you can determine that through the resolutions that Mercer County puts out.
Mm-hmm.
Before we came in tonight. And the other one is addressing, that's what they're doing, but the other addressing is how does this impact us? And how can we mitigate the negative impact on Pennsylvania residents? Both contamination of our drinking water, reduction of our quality of life and property values.
Agreed. Yep.
Two kind of phases to the kind of information the public.
Yep. No, I think that's a good point, because that's what everybody kept saying is, what can we really do? What would you like us to do? And aside from saying, write to your elected officials to give concrete examples of things that could be done would be helpful. So, okay, so I will, like I said, I'll put a motion to the other panel members so that we can draft something. We can circulate it to the members of the public who, you guys who know a lot about the problem, and iterate on what we get put out to the public.
Okay.
All right. Then the second action we were considering taking was, and this will be another motion to put forward to the panel members, is to put out a letter to get the Board of Supervisors to send a letter to the New Jersey DEP asking them to do a site-wide survey for the full site of where all this excavation and construction will occur. I think we should inform them that we've gotten little feedback through the community investigations of the current licensed site remediation specialist that's there, and that the fact that the report on how they're going to mitigate the problem is scheduled to come out after the construction projects are supposed to be completed, just is completely illogical, and that we need to not have projects going forward while we don't have a public plan as to what the issues are or how to control the release of the chemicals that are in the ground over there. So what I expect is to ask the Board of Supervisors to send a letter, much like they did on the noise mitigation procedures, to Mercer County, to which they received absolutely no response. We would like them to put a letter to the New Jersey DEP to say, we understand you have this LSRP, but the report from the LSRP is not going to come out until after these projects are presumably done. And that's just not good. And it affects the Pennsylvania residents because we're all using the same river for our drinking water. So beyond that, if we don't have enough clout through the Board of Supervisors to get a response, we would propose having this community meeting with other elected officials at the state level and federal level to either sign on to that letter or to issue a second letter to the New Jersey officials to say, we really think you ought to address this and not ignore this issue. So one of the debates is, do we just send one letter? Do we take the time to try to corral elected officials to address the PFAS issue? So a single letter goes with all the signatories on it, for the elected officials, get them all involved? Or do we just probably a little quicker get something out from the township to them and hope there's a response, but accept that it may not happen, and then raise the level by sending a letter with more people signing on? Do you have an opinion on the strategy? It would take a little longer to get everybody to sign on to a letter, but maybe the first letter having all the signatures on it would be more beneficial. Any thoughts, Holly?
Has there been consideration to have the LMT supervisors send a letter to surrounding boroughs and townships regarding PFAS, because they drink the water too? And I'm wondering if we could sort of, I don't want to say backstep, but rephrase or reposition this and say, the airport is coming, or however we want to say it. But our concern is during construction, the unveiling or uncovering of PFAS or the dangers of releasing it even further into the Delaware, which is water, where we get our drinking water. Are these townships and other officials concerned about that for their citizens? And I'm wondering if they respond, there could be a letter where it's not just one township, it's all of our surrounding townships that get, and our position is to say, you're getting your water from the Delaware River. Are you aware of what is about to happen?
Mhm.
Because once, they may not care about the airport, but they're going to care about drinking water.
Right.
And I'm wondering if we could get some momentum and then send it over, not only over to New Jersey, but up to the DEP in Pennsylvania and say, this is it. These are all the communities that could potentially be affected.
Mhm.
Because it's a hot topic right now.
The major source of PFAS in the environment is from civil aviation, airports, and military bases,
Mhm.
both of which.
Are there. Yeah. Okay, Holly, I think that's an interesting idea. And
It's more of a cooperative.
does Newtown also share in the same water, or is their source further north?
I don't know the answer to that.
Okay, I mean, obviously we go to Bristol.
Bristol, Falls, Tullytown, Morrisville,
Yeah.
Upper Makefield.
Well, we should
they're
talk to
upriver.
Trenton.
You could. I mean, what's going to happen if they say, well, we don't get our water from there? Well, then, okay. I don't know about Newtown. That's a good question, Rich. I don't know
Yeah.
about Newtown. But anything, along the Delaware, we're all getting it. And I don't want to say anything, but, Philadelphia County gets their water from the Delaware. You could send a note to the mayor of Philadelphia.
Mhm.
I mean, it's a letter of information. Did you know?
Well, it certainly came up in some of the interviews we had with the TV station, and a year ago or so, it was a while ago, we did bring that up. But the idea of a letter saying, did you know this project's going on and this could have an effect that would, influence the quality of your water. And so,
Impact you and your residents. I mean,
Yeah.
they're supposed to care about them.
okay. I think that's a good idea. So,
I'm looking for bang for the buck.
yeah. Yeah.
It's one letter, and you just copy it and send it out to and make sure they see who it's addressed to, so that they say, oh, because maybe somebody in Falls Township knows somebody in Tullytown. Who knows? I don't know how those township governments work. So, I mean, my idea was that all of us around here talk to each other, but sometimes that's not apparent.
Mhm.
So,
Okay. Well, and then that would allow us to have more townships to appeal to PA reps and say, PA DEP, by the way, this is Tullytown and Levittown and Morrisville. So,
you get some population data, and you can say it's the potential of impacting
Mhm.
not hundreds of people, not thousands, but several thousands.
Mhm. Okay. I think that will probably be an idea that's accepted, but we'll certainly recommend it to the Board of Supervisors. Anything more to say on that topic, Judy?
Just to say, who should the letter go to? Who should it be addressed to? Would it go to Dan Benson, Mercer County Commissioner, or would it go to head of New Jersey DEP?
So this would be a letter that we're sending over, not the one we're circulating.
Expressing concern that they're not doing a site-wide investigation, that there's been known spills, that is unclear whether or not they are looking in those areas in their construction projects. That was the original idea for, I think, the letter from
Mhm.
to New Jersey.
Right.
To say, we are concerned. And there's lack of transparency. And not only is there lack of transparency, it doesn't look like they're doing a site-wide investigation.
Mhm.
But I think that Tally's idea is a good one. So it comes back to who's the receiver of the
Do
letter.
we do them in parallel, or do we send a copy of our letter to the other townships or and just say, we have sent this letter. We want you to be aware. Or do we wait to get other communities to sign on to it?
Chicken or egg.
I mean, it seems like,
To me, well, maybe the impact would be that it shows that LMT is working with other governmental people in Pennsylvania about the issue and then sending it to Trenton
Mhm.
or New Jersey versus, oh, here's LMT again.
Right.
The lone wolf, the NIMBYs, blah, 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 blah. We've heard it. Take the letter and.
Right.
That's my own opinion.
yeah,
I'm
Oh.
trying to shake it up a little bit, that's all.
yeah. Okay,
I mean, it's going to take a while.
yeah,
Just same thing as trying to get, other state, other officials involved. But I think it's a good idea.
well, getting the other officials involved may be easier if we have other communities pressing the case.
And I remember a while ago, I thought, I may be wrong, I thought John Lewis had mentioned that there was some sort of communication between the local governmental officials and each other at some point. I don't think it was a monthly meeting, but I thought there was something
Mhm.
that occurred between the local. I may be wrong, maybe they don't do it anymore. I don't know.
Well, we'll ask. Yeah, we don't have to speculate.
So that might be a quick avenue.
Yeah, right. Okay. Those are the main two things that I was concerned with trying to get resolution on and get a, approval from our panel on. So I'll need to pursue those with the members. One other thing I just wanted to mention was, you may have seen the letter from the airport noise report that Diane Yapley sends out.
Recently?
Yeah. Yeah, this just came out this week. And she's talking about the Quiet Skies Caucus and that the Noise Advisory Committee should be a priority, and they're pushing on the influence on communities 20 miles out from the airport and what the effect is. The congressmen are pushing hard on it. And the FAA is being very guarded and saying, well, we haven't made our comments yet about what the congressmen are asking for here. But I do point out that Representative Fitzpatrick is on the list of people pushing this. So he is still involved in the caucus. He's still involved in pushing on the noise, making the FAA accountable to communities for the noise they generate and the effect it has on that. So whether that has any impact on us here, whether it affects them, their willingness to participate in a Part 150 noise mitigation kind of study, we'll see. But at least the Quiet Skies Caucus is still pushing on this event, and Fitzpatrick is still supporting us in that. It's too bad we don't see our senators on the list of people helping with that, but
That's a house.
it's a House function, right? But we would welcome the support from our senators in this capacity as well.
Could we play devil's advocate, even though it's an election cycle, which is probably I have my answer already, and just drop a note to, is it Sean? Sean, his assistant?
Oh, Kyle
Kyle,
Melander.
and just say, we see that there's activity, we're just wondering, is Mr. Fitzpatrick, play dumb and ask him, is he still doing this or what?
Mhm.
Just to see if we get a response back.
Okay, well,
I
Kyle,
mean, we may not.
Is he doing what?
Well, that's the question.
he's engaged with the Quiet Skies Caucus,
Right.
pushing for this
Has he
new,
mentioned Trenton Mercer? Is that in the play or is it just to see what Kyle says?
okay.
We may not get anything because, there are other things to fry right now, but
Kyle's usually very responsive on this. He
it's his thing, so.
addressed the FAA directly
Right.
when the Benson report came out, talking about we want to have planes crisscrossing the country and it's going to grow so much, we may need to extend the runway and,
Yeah.
on and on. And so Kyle Melander did take that up directly with the FAA and said, this completely contradicts your basis for the Fonzie. You know,
Right.
what do you have to say about that? And they just said, oh, we think it's completely consistent with our Fonzie
Oh, yeah.
or something to that effect. So, but he did make the push and, which we appreciate. So, but I can ask Kyle about the Quiet Skies Caucus. And that would
I
be,
did see that letter from Darlene Yappi. I think they were very pleased with the kind of cross-country support that they're starting to get.
yeah, no, it's encouraging that more people are addressing that and they're talking about the very concerns we have beyond the PFAS. All right. That's what I had on my agenda of the issues I want to try to push with the panel and get onto the Board of Supervisors. Do you guys have other things you want to bring up?
The key things.
Okay. Holly, do you have anything else?
They're key, right?
Okay.
We're asking, and I think the board has been very supportive to try to protect our drinking water is what
Yep.
we're talking about. It's not a minor thing.
Yep.
So I'm glad that they're supportive.
Okay. Then I'll sign off for this for now. And next month, maybe we'll have more members and can, well, before that, I will do a remote caucusing of the group so we can get these motions moving forward to the supervisors. All right. Thanks, you guys.